bought this property in 1997. It was mostly just very overgrown pasture land. It hadn't had any animals or anything on it for a number of years.
My parents have always been lovers of nature. When my sisters and I were growing up, all our family vacations were camping trips. So after my dad died and my husband and I moved up here to help my mother with this place, we all started to think about how we could preserve it as it is now, with beautiful views and clean mountain streams, and plants and animals that have been here since before man came along.
To avoid any chance of further development, it looked like the Mountain Land Conservancy was an answer for us, and so we talked to them.
We knew that land conservancies existed, but we had never been through the process of putting a property into a conservation easement. We had no idea what all was involved.
I'm Kieran Rowe, Executive Director of the Carolina Mountain Land Conservancy. We are a local land trust based here in Hendersonville, North Carolina. We work in Henderson, Transylvania, and parts of the neighboring counties to protect those beautiful, special places that make Western North Carolina the great place that it is.
Hi, I'm Tom Fonslow, Land Protection Director at the Conservancy. When landowners approach us and want to learn more about how they can protect their land in perpetuity, the first thing I want to know is, what is that landowner's vision for the property? What is their objective? Are there certain features of the property that are really important to them? Are there certain uses that are really important to them?
Two of the Conservancy staff came to see us. They explained that we would need to have the land surveyed. Then we could figure out what parts of it we wanted to protect with strict rules and what parts we wanted to keep free of covenants.
Back in the late 70s and early 80s, the U.S. Congress passed legislation that made easements deductible, and it really was at that point that local land trusts began to flourish and grow around the country. There are now about 1,700 land trusts. It's really a broad range of skills that go into doing these projects. Everything from the legal work to getting these real estate transactions completed, the biologists that come out and assess the properties and inventory the conservation values that assure that we're protecting places of importance.
They were quite willing to invest time and money in helping us do this, and so that made it so much easier for us, and we just left them guide us through the process.
They sent out 2 biologists to take stock of the species that are present here. We learned a lot from those guys. They told us we have some fairly unusual species, such as a coal skink that our dog discovered one day. The skink survived. We also have plants like ginseng and galax that used to be common around here, but are increasingly rare now. You know, I heard somewhere that the Appalachian Mountains have a greater variety of plants and animals than any other place in the world. We don't have all of them on this property, but we have a lot.
Every deed of conservation easement at Carolina Mountain Land Conservancy is different from the last one because every piece of land is different. We want to have the natural resources inventoried and something called a baseline document. It sets up a measuring stick that captures the current conditions of the property, and it will be used to measure future change.
Because we have streams on the land, we were able to qualify for a Clean Water Management Trust Fund grant that covered part of the expense of this process. There are other grants available too. I think it depends on the particular property that's being protected, how you work it all out.
We say that what we do will be forever, and so how do we do that? Perpetuity is a really long time. Everything we do is designed, from creating the conservation easements to doing the annual monitoring to having those relationships with landowners. Everything is designed to ensure that perpetuity. So we determine what the annual costs are going to be and then set aside sort of an endowment.
I'm Lynn Killian, Development Director. It does cost money to place a conservation easement on your property. We work very hard to seek and secure grant funding, but every single project also takes charitable contributions from individuals. Conservation easements are designed to last forever, to protect your property forever. We need money to not only complete the initial easement, but also to maintain and uphold the easement forever. We call this stewardship. And stewardship is really the key to ensuring that conservation benefits of today last forever.
I'm Sarah Frazier. I'm the Stewardship Director with the Conservancy. Really means that I'm the one that goes out and makes the annual monitoring visits, the site visits, once a year to each of our conservation easements. Really, once the conservation easement is recorded going forward, I'm the one that is the point of contact and maintains the relationship with each of our landowners. I generally bring maps with me, information about the property that will tell me, what the conservation values are, where they're located. I hopefully have an interaction with the landowner if they're present on site, and if they're available, walk around the property with them. I would like landowners to think of me as a resource that can help answer questions or direct them in the right direction to address problems that they're having, or find cost share or grant funds to help them with stream erosion, for example, or fighting invasive plant species on their property. So really a resource and a friend.
When a landowner comes to us and wants us to be involved in the permanent protection of their property, we're thrilled and we're so grateful. You've got something that a lot of people don't. You still got a piece of land that's yours. It's in a natural condition, and that's becoming increasingly rare. And we're so grateful that you want to protect it and that you want to protect it with us.
From what we found out, I think that it's a way for other property owners to go to preserve nature as it is right now in this area.
Change can be good, but there are some things you hope will remain unchanged. It's very satisfying that we've saved this place so that the future will know it the way it is now.